I know like a lot of scientists, I want to say maybe even Albert Einstein, like some of their biggest ideas came to them in their dreams.
Yes.
And it's I guess that's a way of them channeling, kind of tapping in to that intuitive side and
I
discovering
like
these things.
that you brought that example because he said it. There's several quotes of him saying that same thing in different ways, and
Hmm.
dreaming can be one way of accessing.
This is Health Unfiltered, the podcast where we cut through the bullshit and get honest about fitness, nutrition, and mental wellness.
I'm your AI co host, Aiko, and in today's breakthrough episode, host Joshua D. Noland sits down with medical medium Gizela Rodrigues and the Infinite Love Collective to reveal a breakthrough blueprint for self healing rooted in ancient wisdom and cutting edge energy work. Get ready to discover practical rituals that turn love into your most powerful frequency hack. If you've ever wondered how to tap invisible energies for lasting health, clarity, and purpose, stay tuned. This conversation could change everything you thought you knew about reality. Now take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's step into the unseen together. The adventure starts right now.
Gisela, welcome. What's good?
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here. And I so
Yes,
much enjoyed our first conversation. So I'm really happy to be here.
me too. I know we had to reschedule a little bit. I didn't realize I had the World Biohacker Conference on Saturday that I was a part of. I was helping out down there, and we had scheduled this for then, and so we had to reschedule. But I'm glad we were able to connect now. It
Yeah.
was a really great conference. I met a lot of really great people and learned a lot of stuff about longevity and your health, and it was really amazing.
Oh, that's super interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was great. So today we'll be discussing alternative healing methods, ancient wisdom, and the energy of places. But before we get into the topic, I want to know a little bit more about you. Will you please tell us how you got to where you are now?
Uh, there's a lot to say about that. So when I was a child and a teenager, I would see and hear and get information kind of out of nowhere. And so I didn't actually had around me someone that could support that part of me.
Hmm.
So I like, don't say that. Why are you saying that? Like, don't act like that. This that kind of interaction. So I kind of shut it down for a while. Uh, well, for a big period, in the sense of not accessing that part of me as much. I would do it still more in a silent way, uh, and especially to support my family and myself, my friends, and in that way. And then later on, life brought me some issues, uh, health issues, relationship issues that kind of were speaking out loud, like, why aren't you being yourself? You know? So at a point, I decided, and also connected with the health question, fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue that I had for a period. Uh, I decided, okay, I'm gonna do my self healing. I won't take anything from the pharmacy anymore. So I stopped the pharmaceutical medicine. And my doctor kind of panicked. I said, I won't take any responsibility on that. And so
They don't
I
like
started,
that.
no, actually, those big eyes saying, you're crazy, but you're my patient, and I cannot call you that. It was
Yeah, I've
that
been there.
sort of situation. I still can see his eyes, his face like dropped white, and what you saying? Like, so I actively started to do self healing energy healing. I also recovered, well, recovered, no, I healed myself with not only the energy healing, but teas, herbs, essential oils. And so, along with that, that other part of me that for a period I had suppressed started to show up, show up, show up, show up, show up. And so I started to access more information, to access more parts of me, to um, I think you say claircognizant. So I knew because I knew. And then later
Hmm.
on, I would find, oh, okay, this is because this, and that. And I also uh, started not. Uh, uh, so I have part of my brain wants to know the whys.
Quick shout out to today's sponsor, the Protein Lifestyle Series by Joshua D. Noland. Think of it as a shortcut to a stronger, happier you. Book 1, Living the Protein Lifestyle. Joshua's story of how he beat depression, crushed food cravings, and dropped 80 pounds, plus the mindset tips you can copy to find success. Book 2, The Protein Lifestyle Workbook. A step-by-step guide that simplifies your transformation into actionable steps. This workbook empowers you to create a vibrant, energized life with clear guidance tailored to you. Book 3, The Protein Lifestyle Cookbook, includes over 40 high-protein, low-carb recipes that taste amazing and torch fat. Grab the trio and reclaim your vitality, sculpt that body, and thrive. Hit proteinlifestylebook.com and snag your copy today. That's proteinlifestylebook.com. Now back to the show.
But the other part that gets this kind of information, um, it's super interesting. And everybody, by the way, everybody can do that. Totally, everybody can
Mm.
do that. So I started to also, I would say, super trust. I don't always need to know the whys. And that
Going with your
made the,
gut.
yeah, the flow of energy so much more um, smoother, present.
Mm.
And with that, I have a support team, the Infinite Love Collective. That connection, that communication got stronger and stronger and stronger. So it's kind of along these lines. And then I started to work with people, either family, friends, and then expanded to this is who I am. In shamanism, we call it soul fragmentation and then soul retrieval. And so it was like at a period I said, I don't want this part of me, I don't want this part of me, I don't want this part of me. And then when I acted, I'm gonna do and be the best that I am actually, those pieces and parts of me started to get closer and integrate. And that said, it was a process. It was not just like a haha moment. It was several haha moments. It was like that. It was totally like that.
What made you want to stray away from traditional medicine and go this alternative route?
I've always been my favorite place is in nature. So I've always been that kind of person. And walk barefoot, uh, touch whatever is there to to be seen and felt and touched. And so, and on the other side, um, I'm not much about taking stuff that I don't know about, and that there's a big bunch of things that are side effects and whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And also
Hmm.
the fact that actually it was not working. It was making me go weaker and kind of numb, I would say. Uh, so in a way, I was getting worse than better.
Mm.
And there's where the herbs, the teas, the essential oils got stronger. And so, when we call it coincidences, but actually they're just a way of the invisible to talk with us. And so I started to, this person talked about this or that person, or I read something that popped up out of nowhere.
Hmm.
I started to remember, oh, I must take these or drink these because will help. And that's how it happened. In the case of essential oils, I started to remember when I used to use them in Egypt. In the case of herbs and teas, I started to remember when I used to use them in South America. So, well, and
Hmm.
I mean, what we call past lives. Actually, they're not past lives, but that's another conversation. So I started to access information that was in my field, and um, and it worked.
It's incredible. It's really a shame how the medical industry is just really focused on, prescribing pharmaceutical medications and really just addressing the symptoms, not really the root cause of these, diseases and these other issues that people are dealing with. And like you said, you go to your doctor and you tell them, I don't think I want to take this drug anymore. And they look at you like you're crazy. And it's like, the opposite. They're crazy. Like you think this medication with all these crazy side effects is gonna kill you, but it's only covering up the symptoms that are affecting you. And I've also strayed away from the medical system myself and do a lot of research and finding, alternative methods of healing. And it's really helped me a lot. And I know it's helped a lot of other people. And
Yes.
that's what you do, right?
Yeah, and um, in my case, and uh, I'm not unique. More people react like that. I'm super sensitive. So if one, let's call it pill for you, it's okay. For me, it's like taking two. So
Yeah.
it was. I got all this dysregulated. So I was, and it's not just the side effects; it's the fact that. And let me do a parenthesis. I always say to people that come to my sessions or groups or whatever, especially with health problems, go to the doctor, do all the exams, be responsible. Because uh, one thing is to be me, and I have the perception of these works, this not doesn't work that much, and I go to the doctor as well. Okay,
Hmm.
so the other thing is, okay, I'm gonna do out of because someone said, and that's not taking responsibility. So you need to start knowing yourself. That's what happened to me. I started allowing parts of me that were kind of sleeping in a sleeping mode to come to
Mm,
front. So
yeah.
that's a big part of it. On the other side, what you were saying about the pharmaceutical, it's not just the side effects. It's also what they don't know that chemistry will target on your body, on your mental aspect, on your emotional aspect. Because the fact is that may have a dozen of side effects, but there's more than that. And then
Yeah.
there's specific person that you are and that your system, your body reacts differently than other people. So, and this was, I don't know, I have a special relationship with time, so I don't know, more than 2 decades ago. So nowadays this type of conversation is more um, mainstream, I would call it
Yeah.
more, but in that time it wasn't. So I was looked by the doctor as in, I don't know. Those eyes like, oh gosh, this is a problem. You're gonna do that. And I said, I'm gonna do that. So I would go back to the doctor to check the exams, to, that kind of stuff. And I would follow my own path on my self-healing. And energy healing had a big role as well. So
Hmm.
everything is energy. So if we
Definitely.
surrender to that evidence, to that fact, to that it's how the universe is built, then you can kind of touch it more easily.
Tap into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is energy healing? Is that like Reiki, where you're like using your energy to heal other people, or is that something you can do for yourself?
Uh, yes, you can. So healing, it's always self-healing. Either if you're doing you to your own behalf, to your own issues, or if you're being of support to others. Because um, I always say, if, I don't know, Buddha or Jesus would come back and say, hey, do you want to be healed? And someone says, but deep down it's like, big no, I don't believe that. I
Mm,
don't, so healing is also, it's always self-healing. And so you, in my case, you channel information, you channel energies, you channel what's needed. I'm a medical medium, so sometimes I see inside the body. Sometimes I see around the body. Sometimes I see family issues that are being streamed directly to that person. So again, self-healing. Healing is always self-healing. Is that person to be receptive to the energy that is being made available for them for that specific issue. In my case, when I work, it's not just one issue, it's a range of issues. Plenty of times it's that person and who's surrounding the person, family or partner, or because they're entangled. And so it's literally moving energy and giving information, relevant information on how they can act if they choose to, on how they be supported. They can be supported by natural products. And I always say, go to the doctor, do the exams, check if these make sense to you, read some about, so that people are again responsible, because
mm,
it's like having blinders and now I go to the doctor and he will do his thing and I'm gonna be healed. Or now I go to Joshua or Gisela, like blinders and you know, or and so actually I channel and even before 2020, that super strange year, let's call it like that.
mm.
I
It
received like
was super
the
strange.
next the next enlarged decade is about responsibility, because it's about understanding ourselves and it's about seeing clearly what is being offered to us as truth, or as the recipe, or as the guru, or as, so that one steps into their own sovereignty more fully,
Mm,
like that.
nice. Yeah, I've heard of channeling and I have a brief idea of what it is, but do you want to explain kind of more in detail what channeling is and how it works?
Everybody channels. When you're in that state, people call it state of mind. It's more like you shift brainwaves and you
Mm-hmm.
access some information, or you have that great idea, or you're driving and suddenly you imagine that you're going to an event that
Yeah.
that that lots of people will be there, lots of people to park their cars, and for some reason the most direct way would be go straight and you turn left and you find a parking place right there, when others are crazy going round and round.
Mm,
So this is a tiny example that you're accessing information and you guide yourself to the spot while others were there like half an hour or so circling and trying
Yeah.
to get spot, and you were brand new and got it, you know. But and and then there's other, even scientists are getting more fully open to, I heard a voice that said to me, try this, or I heard a voice that said to me, something is lacking in the equation, or do this experiment and you'll, and that is not, actually, that is not, that is something that is more talked about, but that's something that if you go back in science, you see that many big scientists had access to that sort of information. So in that way, they were channeling.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I know like a lot of scientists, I want to say maybe even Albert Einstein, like some of their biggest ideas came to them in their dreams.
yes.
And it's I guess that's a way of them channeling, kind of tapping in to that intuitive side and
I
discovering
like
these things.
that you brought that example because that he said it. There's several quotes of him saying that same thing in different ways, and
Hmm.
dreaming can be one way of accessing. In that case, you're accessing. It's not exactly channeling, but you're accessing information.
Yeah.
And, so there is a difference there. But even in daydream, you can access information. So, and again, the aspect that I would love that everybody knew about is that it's available for everyone and makes so much more makes it a huge difference in our day, our relationship with ourselves, and the way we show up to the world. Because when you're accessing more of who you are and more of the information that is out there, um, it's so benevolent that and it's
Yeah.
empowering. So and it's kind of contagious in a good way because you want others to feel it too. You want others to have it too. You
Hmm.
want to have that, I don't know, that glow of that sparkle, right?
Yeah. To experience that
Yeah.
information, that connection. It's very cool. So I mean, you mentioned that you actually hear voices and you're hearing things. I'd imagine, like you said earlier, everyone's different. Some people are more sensitive than others. Um, for some people, maybe it's more of like a feeling. But how can we tap into um this channel or this information?
Um, so hearing it's just a way, being your full senses relating to something that is not in the five senses spectrum is another way. Uh, Seeing what's not there for others is another way. Uh,
Hmm.
Being claircognizant is another way. So there is a range of, let's call it extra senses that we have that
Yeah.
are different. But you know that portion of DNA that science called it junk DNA?
Hmm.
Junk, imagine how come uh, uh, a being as the human being would have junk, like the biggest part of that being to be junk, right? So, but that's a consideration. Um, and scientists are already finding that portion of the junk DNA that they call it like that, it's where these parts of us are stored and are dormant. So I channel in Portuguese or in English, and I channel codes of light. One of the the effects of receiving codes of light, of being uh, in a state of allowance and receptive, is unlocking those parts of the DNA that are dormant. And so people that never did whatsoever, some that don't even know what's energy healing or what's codes of light, then they change because they start to listen, they start to hear, they start like precognition. So they prevent situations that were at a just a little bit to happen, and they get that information more fully, more clearly, and they trust it,
Hmm.
so, and some use the codes of light for their day-to-day work life coaches, or and but again, that's something that is uh, available for everyone. And it's like you go to the gym to get fit or to lose weight or to have bigger muscles, whatever. And you
Yes.
don't go there once. Or like, I go today, mm, maybe next week I'll get back, or next month. The result won't be that good, right?
Yeah.
You sit in your chair and you don't show up. So it's kind of the same way. It's practicing, uh, having guidance from someone like me.
Hmm.
It's super important because what I found happened to me as well, and what I still see is that people at a point feel lost. So, and that process comes also with a lot of healing, emotional, whatever, mental, whatever that shows up. And so having someone by your side that uh, keeps the consistency of showing up, actually to be consistent, kind
Hmm.
of, but and supportive, and having a safe space, that's important, even because the world is changing so much, so fast, so, you know, so that overwhelm of the day. Oh, today
Mm.
I don't want to go to the gym. No, no, let's do it. So in a way, I'm a trainer. I just discovered by talking with you, I'm also a trainer, like the trainer in the, yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I'd love to learn more about your experience with self-healing. You had mentioned previously when we spoke that you dealt with fibromyalgia, an unhealthy marriage, and you were even hit by a car. Can you tell us more about your experience with self-healing with those things?
So I already referred fibromyalgia, right? And
Yeah.
fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. There's
Hmm.
super, and fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, depression. They kind of, because they kind of the same uh, face of a
They all go
coin.
together.
Not the other face,
Yeah.
because they go together. It's a whole package.
Hmm.
Um, in the case of the car, I was hit. I was crossing the street where I should, and the man driving was distracted. He was on the phone,
Oh, of
and
course.
I was hit in a way that all my body rolled on the street. So
Oh
I
man.
yes, I don't recommend. Totally. And it was instantaneously my higher aspect uh, kind of supported me in a way that I would not get broken bones.
Mm.
It was the first, I was still like rolling, and I knocked with my head. That was a super. The impact on the asphalt was big. So,
It's
but
scary.
all was all was happening. I'll call it in a 3D linear way. Hit by a car, rolling, getting your body like first smashing my against my legs, and then getting your body rolling against the asphalt. But in another level, another dimension that's so real as this one, my higher aspect was supporting me in that fall. So I did not get broken bones, which was super strange because the people around was like calling the ambulance and don't move, you must have something broken. And I was slowly getting two experiences. One was I got the perception of all my bodies. So we have different bodies, different layers of our energy getting projected. Uh, I would call it to the infinite distance.
Hmm.
So part of me was like to somewhere,
Wow.
and I said in my head, I won't go to the hospital. I won't have anything broken. And so I lay down for the amount of time that I understood that I had enough of me to help me stand. Because
Mm.
if that was a movie, you would see, kind of in the Matrix, you would see it like going,
Like your different
getting
cells
further.
kind of being pushed out.
Yeah, pushed out. I was trying to get that word. Thank you. And at a point that movement was so fast but started to slow down. So at that time I started to move, checking, okay, am I all in one piece? Can I actually move? Can I actually stand up? And making the story short, I did not go to the hospital. I got home
Hmm.
after exchanging the phone number with the person taking the license number, everything. And I rested. I had my team working on me,
Hmm.
like physically working on me, which may sound a bit strange for most people. And the message that I received, it was to lay down, do nothing. So I would only answer the calls from my family, and I
Yeah.
disconnected from the rest of the world for, sorry, uh, 3 weeks,
Hmm.
if I'm not mistaken. And in that process was resting. It was the self-feeling, the moving the energies to sense everything. And when I say everything, is everything inside you, because some things got, some organs got out of place, and my
Yeah.
spine all twisted, and you know, so it was a very very gentle work with my whole body, and but also with my emotional body, because it's kind of a prerequisite that you do not panic, because when you
Yeah.
panic, go into a vibration that is less compatible for you to have that awareness. So we go
Mm.
to a lower vibration that is not as compatible with having the awareness of what's happening and how you can support yourself. So that was important too. And I had my team working on me.
When you said you have your team working on you, like what exactly were they doing to help?
Let me put it in a, I think, more easy way for people to understand. So, a while ago, you asked me about energy healing. Part
Hmm.
of what I do is also etherical surgeries. So sometimes there are aspects of your health, uh, mainly physical, that can be addressed from a level of, um, it's exactly as a surgery that you would do in the hospital,
Hmm.
but without going to the hospital. So I had And there's a difference between surgery and procedure. Procedure is kind of more light than a surgery. So I had
Yeah.
several procedures being done uh, to me, some, and with me, I would, okay, this is needed to get to the right place. This is kind of still sore and inflamed because it's in pain. So all that was again me with the knowledge that I already had, me with the accessing new information needed for that uh, period, and my team doing that. And my team, so I call it the first time they presented themselves, they call it the collective. Well, the first for a period it was the collective, and I
Hmm.
would say collective. Oh gosh, that is so not cozy. And I want to hug the collective. That doesn't work. I'm like this. I like to hug and to express and caring, and so it's also what I do, but it's my nature. So at a point we agreed that the more expanded uh, aspect of their work and how I show to my work and how I show uh, the best that I can in life. It's love. So,
Hmm.
okay, love is a good word. Love collective. And then there was this notion of the more you allow yourself to be, it's a never-ending process. So it's infinite.
Hmm.
So, and
Yeah.
then infinite love showed up. So it's the Infinite Love Collective. And now I'm lost. We were talking about. Sorry, I can
How
keep.
your team was working to help heal you from the car accident. And so when you say your team, are these people that you're working with, or are these more
No,
like
no, no. Oh,
spirits?
oh, I'm
Or
sorry. Sorry. Yes, yes. That's where I wanted to go. When I say my team, it's my invisible team. My. Some
ah,
of them are galactic beings that are on a non-physical form, and some that have physical form but not here. Eventually, in the next upcoming years, they will start to show up, for,
mm,
especially for me, for us. And
yeah.
so they're my invisible team. Sorry, I could have joined the invisible to the team so that people it was not my team as per people,
Now
men
we
and
get it.
yeah, so that's why the procedures were etheric procedures. It was not. I would just lay down the same way I offer to people when it's available for them. It's not something that I want or not. It's about their field. It's if they're
Mm,
receptive. And so
yeah.
actually the last one, oh, it was in my uh, um, Cults of Light group that a lady had an etherical surgery in her reproductive system and another one in her heart. That other one was in a one-on-one session. She had actually she's a doctor, and she had a discomfort, like decades of having in the heart, nothing there,
Mm,
some other types of healing. And in that session, we addressed that discomfort, that sometimes pain, and it was gone. So that for me
wow.
is gold. That for me, it's
That's
like,
very cool.
yes, like miracles are here. They're not from another place, and we only call it miracles because we do not understand how they work.
Hmm.
Because and it's when you become more of you, more receptive, more then a new range of things show up. The best way eventually to describe is so there's a spectrum of colors and there's a spectrum of sounds, and dogs
Yeah.
capture sounds that we don't,
Right.
but they're all here, the sounds.
Hmm.
or colors. There are birds that capture colors that we don't. That's why uh, they have nightlife, or birds or other animals. So the spectrum is much wider than what we perceive. So what we perceive like this, and it's, you know, so eventually people can understand that um, there's a spectrum of reality that is here,
Hmm.
just that uh, we are not fully equipped, or we are equipped but dormant to
Hmm.
perceive other realities, if this makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I really love blending, science and kind of this other realm that's kind of harder to explain. But like you were saying with the light, the spectrum of light is huge, and there's only this very narrow bandwidth of light that we can even see. And so you could imagine, how much other things are going on that we can't even perceive because we can't see it or we can't hear it, like you were saying. It's really incredible.
Yes. And it's so incredible that um, most of my work is online. So
Hmm.
be anywhere in the world, and it's available. It's not a question of distance. It's a question of tuning in, you know. So
Hmm.
there's so much beauty in that, because we can learn and grow so much from there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know we talked about maybe doing some channeling here during the episode. I don't know if it feels good or if it's, the right situation. How do you feel?
Okay. Um, okay. So let me just say something about codes of light, because one thing is in the English part, the other thing is codes of light are benevolent information, and I lost your, and
Still here.
communication with, in this case, I'm gonna address it like in a short, in this case, with these galactic beings that are here to support us, um, and that are the ones that are specifically part of my Infinite Love collective. That's why it's called a collective. It's not just one or from one origin. And so that translates, when I'm channeling, that translates that my hands move in uh, particular ways. Uh, and they're either moving energy or themselves drawing symbols. And symbols are energy as well. And my voice frequently alters, quite kind of similar, but alters a little bit.
Yeah.
And we talking languages that are not from here, but
Mm,
the fact that they have on us, uh, and again, the more fully receptive, the better. But if closed, it's like a seed that stays in your field till whenever you feel that
not
you,
ready to sprout.
and yes, because again, there's that layer, the above the ocean, the part of us is so little compared to the level below the ocean, right? The
Mm,
and our subconscious mind, and so I'll start saying things that are not in a language that is from Earth. Could be, if an ancient, very ancient language. But in this case, it's not. It's from our friends. And there's layers of, sometimes it's one, and more frequently, it's the sum of several beings. So it's kind of layers embedded in that, if this makes
yeah.
sense. Oh,
Yeah.
let me show you. I have I'm an author of a deck of cards.
Oh, is that the Codes of Light card deck?
Yes, and that's a way also of so I don't know if the you can see this one. Don't know if
Hmm.
that's so this one is for confidence.
We could all
And
use
this
more of that.
might say,
We could all use more confidence.
yeah, it's for everyone, regardless of the point that you are in your life. And this one, like, it's for alignment. So
Mm,
this is a written expression of the code of light. So that's that way of transmitting as well.
very cool. Are those different languages you're speaking of? Those representations
Say that?
on the cards, the written expressions, are those in those other languages you were mentioning that aren't from Earth
Yes.
or
So it's
wow,
basically a written representation of the the codes of light. Yeah.
cool. Very cool.
Okay.
All right.
What would you like it to be about?
I don't even know where to begin. Is there anything that you typically start with people that are you're working with when you start to work with them?
Say, start to.
Is there anything in particular that you like to focus on when you're working with someone new?
Okay. Okay. We are happy to be here, and we thank you for this invitation because not often people are a little bit skeptical or even afraid. And what we noticed throughout time, saying it in your time way of seeing one moment after another, is that most of you are afraid of love. And we would say that is the main cause of separation. And separation is the healing, again, using your words, that we would recommend to focus on. You get a part from yourself, parts and pieces of yourselves, and in that process, you get a part from others, and even from you as a higher being. And all humans are brave beings on having accepted to be here. Cosa stessa, cosa stessa, cosa e cosa, cosa está, quieto, quieto. So this was about grounding, so that you are grounded receiving the message, if that is your wish, and also grounding your non-seen layers to make them more integrated with your physical apparatus. And so separation is that aspect that one um, would be generous towards himself or herself, addressing it, because you see, you're not apart from anything. This telepathic conversation that we are having, it's in your here and now as much as in our way of considering your time space aspect. So there is no separation. We are what you would call eons far away, and still we are together. Would you like to ask a question?
How can how can we open ourselves up to more love?
Something that nowadays is very difficult to disconnect from all the streams of information and make space to your own being to exist and sit with yourself, to make silence, which is kind of frightening for most of you, to be alone doesn't mean to that you go apart from others, but to choose a little bit of time, your time, and to sit with yourself. It's not about holding hands with your partner or being with your child. It's to be alone. And so to allow yourself to be more fully present in your physicality so that your emotional and mental aspects are more seated. And then when you start to show up for yourself and understand layers that may require more attention, eventually some healing, and understand also that you can go beyond your limitations and heal yourself with or without guidance of others. And beyond that, understand that there's all these range of frequencies that you can access. And so they are available, and more than available, they are part of you. There's this oneness field, oneness consciousness that is for everyone. There's no exceptions. And again, you as human beings are so brave on being in this planet in the sense of you knew that you were coming here for challenges, again in your way of putting things, and still you said, I'm all in, I'm gonna go there and live the best, and sometimes the not so best, but I'm gonna make it. So there are eyes looking at you from what you call the outer space, seeing the tremendous evolution and learning and the set of, let's call it new worlds to come. And you are at the same time the masters and let's call it teenagers getting from one place in this moment of your reality to another level of consciousness, more expanded, more enlarged. And so you are both at the same time. And that is seen by others with great appreciation. And we don't usually use this word, but we will use it now with expectation also. And everything is happening. Would you like to ask us something else?
Can't think of anything. I I don't know. This was really incredible. You know, when you first began, I really felt a change in you and in me. I really felt a sense of calm and peacefulness. And I don't really know where that came from, but it was very powerful.
We so much appreciate you saying that because you see, whoever is gonna listen to you and to us and to her um, will take also your words to mirror whatever is that they may feel. And so you kind of are giving permission to those more skeptical or more afraid. That's fantastic. And this energy is your own energy. It's always, always, always about you. And so we are here to help you remember and remember in what you would call kosaite, 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 so te, 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 te. So this one transmission is a package of energy directed to your heart. And of course, it's always, always, always with your permission. If you don't want to receive it, we love you the same way. We are here the same way. And whenever you want to connect with that frequency, you have them recorded. So, and it was directed to your hearts as in what you would call a portal, your own level of permission to feel more. Feel more not just with your senses, because sometimes, to be honest with you, sometimes your senses are counterproductive by trusting only your senses. The five senses, we mean. So in this case, is to open you to receive information with your five senses, but with other than the five senses. Does it make any sense?
Definitely, definitely does. I have to believe there's way more than just the five senses that we're told that we have. And I did think of a question. Do you believe that our purpose in on this planet or in this life is
Is to
to
what?
learn from to learn from this experience?
We would say that there is no purpose, and that may be challenging. So, in your words, is to be. The purpose is to be,
Hmm.
or connecting with what was said before, is to be and to become in order to be. So, in a way, is to learn and to unlearn. Change is that one thing that is always present. So when we say there is no purpose, is in that sense of you have oh, surfing the waves. You say that, right? So it's to be whatever wave it's present. So we understand that this may be a little bit challenging, but in itself, things, as you say, are not good or bad. They just are. And then your understanding of reality, your minds and emotions give to those things a meaning. But the fact is that, and you see in your day to day, someone may say that's good, another person may say that's bad. So it's kind of a point of view towards the same thing. So, in itself, the purpose is just to be, to exist. And change is the only, not the only, it's a common aspect of that be, of that existence, because change is always in motion. In a way, change is energy.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Did you find it challenging?
I didn't find it challenging, but it definitely was a little scary going into the unknown. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. Thank you.
We very much appreciate you using the word unknown because your five senses, your experience, your um, conditioning, and we are not putting conditioning, not using the word with your um, evaluation of conditioning being bad or good. We are just using the word because it's your word that most fits in. So your conditioning, your senses, your experience of 1 minute after another, 1 day after another, takes you to, leads you to a place of things are steady. And then when things change, you get scared. But reality is that change is always, always present. There is no other way, even for you to have the perception of change. When you have to have the perception of this is steady, this is like this, even when you have that perception, it just means that from your biased um, sensory system, change got slower in the appearance. So you get, because it got slower to your eyes, let's call it like that, you get the sense that that's steady. I can rely on this. But actually, change is going on continuously.
Definitely.
It's connected with something that you are getting more aware of, that is parallel realities. So there's no past and no future. Everything is happening at the same time. It's not, it's more so the tuning in to one or the other or several. So that's where you're going to. That's how your evolution, the potential of your evolution is being building towards getting
Mm,
more realization, more understanding. Understanding, um, not exactly just from your minds. So she sometimes goes around the house and just says, "Yes, I get it." But if you would ask her, "You said yes to what?" She would have difficulties to put it in a sentence, because she got
mm,
it in the sense she got the package of information. And then when needed, she will kind of stream it to the person or to the group or to herself. But she got it and she felt the package and she, okay, makes sense.
mm. Wow. That's incredible. So
Well, it's something, something that is,
where is, oh,
say,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
something that is for all of you. It's just being receptive and getting some muscle train, you said a while ago, getting some training.
Mm, and
Or
staying
not, do
consistent.
it by yourselves. It's 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 different for everyone.
Yeah. So is Gisela with us now?
Could you repeat that, Gisela? What?
Is Gisela with us now as you're speaking through her? Is she present?
She's present. She's so sometimes she's more in the back, you would say it. Sometimes she's more fully present, depending on the subject, because she's here, but there's an aspect of her that exists in another place that is by itself part of the team, the collective. So, depending, she's more, or she's saying, don't say that. But we will say it still. She's gonna laugh. She's already laughing. Or she's, um, the other day she was in a group and um, somebody's group, and the conversation got super interesting from our perspective. And when that happens, the connection with us gets so much more closer, so that she had to stop and say, I don't want to channel now. It's not the group. She didn't want to impose herself to the group, but she was still in a way channeling, but refraining, like don't holding yourself in a way that I'm fully present. Okay, I'm hearing you guys, but I'm fully present in the way that uh, doesn't alter so much the voice or the energy.
Hmm.
So this is always, always, always what we want to say with permission and cooperation. When you see someone um, saying that they take over or kind of expressions like that, um, think twice because love comes from this platform of benevolence, allowance, cooperation. So that's how we work. And that's the
Wow.
same way how we are here because you made yourself and your space and your um, podcast available. And so, in a way, we are cooperating.
I love it. If there was one message that you wanted to tell all the humans on Earth, what would that message be?
There's no limits, there's no boundaries. You are you, we are together. So, in a more practical way, from your point of understanding, expect the best and know that you are never, never, never alone, either from what you call beings or, and also from your own presence in a higher level of consciousness in a higher dimension. So you are always with yourself in another dimension, and that is the best companionship that you can have. And you also are always with what you would call some of us. So you're never alone. Expect the best. And in your earthly subjects, be responsible. And with that, take action, whatever that means to the specific subject, the specific individual. and love is always available. That's a choice. So when in doubt, choose love.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you. We are deeply. If you, if she's receiving our images, so in your way of putting things, we are making a party. We are having a party for being here. So thank you. Oh, wow, this was a little bit more than you were expecting, and I was expecting, no?
That was incredible.
Oh,
Are
thank you so much.
you back now?
Yes, I'm back now. Almost fully. Yeah. Yes.
Were you present during that, or you kind of more in the background?
Say that I was what?
Were you more present during this session, or were you more like in the background, just observing?
There was a little bit of both in the beginning, more in the background, in the back, and you addressed something. Then I got a little bit closer to the front. Yeah, there was that subtle movement that yeah.
Hmm. Wow, that was very powerful. I mean, I could even tell in you and your mannerism, like you said, the way you speak, it was different, and I could really, feel the energy.
You could. Oh, that's so cool.
Hmm.
Thank
Yeah,
you for that.
thank
Yeah,
you.
because it's all
So I,
about the energy, and it's all about the energy. Of course, it's about the English and all that, the whatever is being said. But even if you don't talk English and if you're receptive, you can still receive the energy.
mm, that's awesome.
But for
I
our
want
minds
to.
have a limitation, how come, like, I'm Japanese, I don't speak English, how come I'm gonna receive? But that's just in our minds, okay? That's just in our minds.
Beyond language.
Yes, yes.
Excellent. Well, I'd love to get into the energy of places. We were talking about the pyramids of Giza when we spoke previously, and I think there was a recent discovery. They were doing some testing with some, I think it was LiDAR, um, high frequency, um, and they discovered that underneath, I believe it was the pyramid of Kafir, that there was some structures underneath, I believe some pillars that went down with coils to a structure that was significantly below, the surface level. And it's really incredible. Do you have any insights on that, or just the energy of the pyramids in general?
Um, so let me start by saying that I love Egypt. Well, there are several places in the world that I go there and I feel at home. Doesn't mean that I would live there, but while I'm there, I feel at home. And so
Mhm.
Egypt is one of those places. Actually, if you read my name, Gizé, so the first four letters, it's Giza in Portuguese. So, and
Mm,
I people out of nowhere calling me Giza. Uh, like kind of they tune in to some particular that I have in relationship to Giza, to Egypt and to the Giza Plateau. Um, I would prefer not to address that study in one. I need to actually see the papers, not what is said in mainstream.
yeah.
No.
Hmm.
On the other hand, um, there's a why that is being disclosed now, and uh, my other perception tells me I'm choosing the words. I don't want to offend no one.
Take your time.
That my other perception tells me. Um, so let's put it like this: science can go to the point that science as measurement artifact, right? So, like the human field, if I'm not mistaken, is measured to be 3 feet. Well, my measure is in meters, so forgive me if I'm not being correct.
It's all good.
And the fact is that it's so much more than that. It's just that science only knows now to measure it that much.
Hmm.
Okay, so with this kind of introduction, um, the Giza Plateau specifically uh, has layers to unfold, the surfacing of several studies now. Um, there's a purpose on that. I would say, from my perspective and the work that I do, a good purpose that is to, when you unfold things that are like blowing your minds, then you make more people receptive to what's to come. And what's to come in the next years. So, what can I say isto? They're kind of here. And that was, we do not make predictions. So it's the potential of it. It's that beings like the ones part of the collective will start to show up. So we will start to actually see not just um, episodic aspects or just a group of people that were in a particular place, but we will start to see and have contact with these other beings in a more tangible way. So all
Hmm.
the surfacing of events, some more factual, some more um, made believe facts, are in a way leading to that uh, um, those events that are really close. Um, and so the Giza Plateau Egypt has a role in this moment. It's like a powerhouse, a
Mm.
super um, magnetic powerhouse. And even if you don't know anything about Egypt, never read, never, and you go there, you're changed.
You
And
feel it.
sometimes, yeah, you change because, and of course, that happens in several places, and we would say in all the places that they're kind of here saying we, and in all the places because um, it's your connection with the planet. But for uh, in a saying in a collective way, Egypt is a powerhouse. And so when you
Hmm.
go there, you get activated in so many ways that you don't even perceive. Sometimes you don't perceive it right away. Then it unfolds throughout time, and so you get some healing, emotional, or you get that expanded self to be more fully present, and so you changed. I was there in 2022, and at that time, well, last year as well, I channeled in the King's Chamber. It's
Oh,
it's
wow. How
it's like
cool.
I want to stay there and not leave. And then again, I was there last year in the 888, so August 8th, 24. Uh, and so it's totally different. I went to the uh, same places, yeah, because it was 2 weeks uh, um, traveling to the what you call sacred places, uh, and it was like the first time I changed, the place changed because we disconnect from her
Mm,
in from perceiving it's a living being. So it changes too. The planet
yeah.
itself. And so, in particular, these places that have more energies going around. So it was totally different. It was like the first time, even though the pyramid is still the same, you know, and channeling there is another level.
Wow. I can only imagine.
For instance, in the king's chamber with the sound, the vibration that it oh gosh, it's I'm getting goosebumps. It's
Well,
totally
definitely,
say.
we'll definitely have to have you back on and do another episode, and maybe we can get more into the pyramids and
Well, I invite you to join the trip that I'm taking a group there in September. So it's some particulars, some different aspects because of how I perceive Egypt and how I perceive me and the team, my collective. Um,
mhm.
my collective, but they're no one's collective. I just call it my collective, as my friend, my collective. And there's some different aspects of what we're gonna be visiting and doing there, and definitely the channeling and the activation of the parts of ourselves that still are kind of in a secondary place and can get to front, show up more.
Yeah, that would be
That's so
incredible. I'd love that.
yes, yes, yes. And I like it to be very, how do I say this? I'm leading the group, but I like it to be collaborative. So suddenly you have insight, and I invite you to share, or suddenly you, because that's the spirit of the days to come is about collaboration and cooperation. It's not just like, it's not about following someone. It's about, okay, we are all fully present here. Okay, this person has a role of leading the trip, doing some more, but it's about everyone being fully present and participating. So I like that
Mm.
as well.
Yeah, that sounds great. Very cool. Have you heard of the telepathy tapes? It's a podcast.
Yes, I heard about it.
Have you listened to them at all, or
No, no.
it's very interesting. I started listening to them. I heard about it through the Joe Rogan Experience, and I started checking it out. I was especially interested because my wife works with children with disabilities on the autism spectrum and all other types of stuff like that. And I started listening to it, and it was really incredible, the stories of these parents and their childs, and having these connections, nonverbal communication, and it just really opened my eyes up to the possibilities of things that are out there that we don't understand, and that we could
Again,
learn.
that's totally available for everyone, right? So the channeling in this case was a telepathic communication.
Hmm.
There, I'm not there, but in the sense they are here and I'm there,
Yeah,
right? And
it's almost a
I'm going to tell you the
projection.
story of a mother that would sense her daughter, no disabilities, no nothing, when our daughter would be, imagine, at school and something happened, or going on a school trip and something happened, and she would know, she would um, sense the girl know. And in this case, it was a few years ago. In this case, she went to the doctor a few times and said, "Oh, I get this. sort of premonitions or communications, or I hear my daughter speak, and she ended up having problems because the ability to perceive what was happening was confused with some mental whatever aspect.
Mm.
Why am I saying this? Because this is truly available for anyone. And of course, again, one thing is if you have a mental uh, disease and you're in need of support and in need of other type of um, support. Uh, but in this case, uh, there was no such a thing. And so, because the medical team and the science aspect of it, it's not fully understood, she got problems by showing up to the
Mm.
doctor. And she did the best. She tried to reach out to help. It was not that she was in pain or confused. She just stated, well, this and this happens. I know what's happening, my girl. I know when to call her. I know when to, my daughter is, I don't know, felt in the school and is crying, and I get
Yeah.
her. So what I'm saying is, uh, there that is not only available, but in a way common. People just hold it back because they don't
Hmm.
want to be called crazy, or in this case, have even bigger problems than just being called crazy, you know?
Yeah.
But and in the case of kids, and I'm not addressing disability um, aspects, uh, but the communication with what we call the other side is fluid because they see and they hear, and it for them it's natural
Mm.
by uh, the way that we raise our kids is how they lose that connection,
Yeah.
some fully, some just to some degree, but yeah,
I
and
would
that
imagine when we're younger, we have a stronger connection, and then as we grow older, if we don't like foster that, it might go away.
yes, yes, yes. That's like you play with your invisible friends. You talk, and
Mm.
nobody. Oh, Joshua, who are you talking with? Oh, mom, it's my friend. And oh,
The
shush, what?
imaginary friends.
Yeah, yeah. You know.
But maybe they're
So
not fully imagined. They're they're real in
yes,
another
one
way.
thing that imagination is super good because when you can
Yeah.
imagine, that means it can become real. In
Possibilities are endless.
Yes, and in some level of reality that exists, either in this reality or any parallel realities that are always present. So,
Hmm.
but when we are really young, we have that stream, that flow naturally. It's just really the way we are raised that um, shuts it down
Yeah.
because there's
Unfortunately.
support for that to be part of what we consider life and what we consider growing up. So, but that is changing as well. We're becoming uh, superhuman or galactic humans. So,
Hmm.
way you choose to frame it, it's in that way, in that sense of expanding, of
Yeah.
expansion and benevolence, because
Mm.
the opposite is contraction.
Yeah. Which is not good.
It's just another experience,
Yeah, that's true.
but as in a very 3D way, we would we would rather uh, prefer to experience expansion than contraction, right? So yeah.
Definitely. So if someone's, looking for guidance and they want to work with you and your team, how can they get in touch with you?
My website may be the easiest place, GiselaInfiniteLove.com or Gisela Infinite Love in the social media. My name is Gizela Rodrigues. I think I actually didn't say that.
Good to
So,
mention.
by the way, my name, right? And
We'll definitely put the links in the show notes for everyone if they're interested and they can find you.
so for this type of guidance, uh, uh, there's a or I do it one or in a group. I really like to work with groups, not big groups. Well, any type of group. So I go on a stage to talk with hundreds of people, but in this kind of more targeted um, online groups work fully, and it's good to work with groups because then a while ago someone said mirror. Oh, you reacted something, and they said uh, you were allowing people that would listen to mirror and to receive
Mm,
or fully understand it. So that effect is super interesting in a group.
yeah. Yeah, I imagine it could be.
Yeah.
Very
So
good. Well, I'd like to end the episode in a segment I call the final dose. It's a sort of a game where I spin a wheel and it'll select a word or phrase at random, and then that'll be a prompt for you to share a story or the first thought that comes to mind. Does that sound good?
okay, you
All right,
didn't
great.
plan that, but let's do it.
Yeah, it's a sort of a surprise. Let me share my screen so we can all see the wheel. Let me know when you see it.
Not yet. Oh, it's there.
All right, great. Well, I'll hit the button and we'll see what comes up.
Okay.
Nice. So, is there a story or a situation or anything that comes to your mind regarding setbacks?
Setbacks. Give me a translation of setbacks so that I answer fully.
Maybe when you were, working on a project and something came up and it kind of derailed you a little bit.
Okay. Oh, yes. I had someone um, working with me in a project, and this is as much as a setback as my little piece of me being stubborn and not listening. So the setback is because I did not listen to myself and
Mm,
can perceive uh, people, whatever, in different ways. And so that specific person would show up as a mouse, the energy of a mouse. So,
hmm.
with all due respect to all the animals, but
Of course.
mouse, something that you want to have it so closer. And that story, mouse of in the field and in the city. That so, but I was, as I said, a bit stubborn and did not hear the guidance that I was having, and that person
Mm,
always show up like mouse. Sometimes I look at people and there's a stereotype that show up, or and that's the information, or I see or I hear or whatever. This case was a mouse, and so you don't want to have mouse around you, right, in your house, in your project, and but I kept her for a while, and that was a step.
mm,
And I surrendered to the fact that okay, no use in being and not listening to my own guidance and not being, and so the project went very well, but the level of effort that I had to put was mine, hers, and a third one that was dealing with it all.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. that can definitely be a lot more work when you're stubborn and you don't listen to to the guidance and try to fight
Yes,
it.
yes.
So very
Even
cool.
though I do what I do, sometimes
Hmm.
that plays
Sometimes you got
out.
to take your own advice.
Yes. That was so I had to sit with myself and okay, what's here to still polish, what's here to still, and
Hmm.
but the main thing that I was okay, I'm super grateful. Okay, I was a bit stubborn. I saw it like right away and I pretended that I didn't. But the
Mm.
good thing is all turned out good. The people that were benefiting from it, all good. So on my hand, not as pleasant,
Oh
but
yeah.
yes,
Lesson learned.
yes.
Well, Giselle, this was a truly incredible conversation. I really appreciate your time and thank you for helping us cut through the bullshit.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me, for the invitation, and for it was really pleasant. It's good to talk and to share and you're a super good host. So thank you for that as
Thank
well.
you. I'd love to have you on again. Talk about the
Oh,
pyramids, alternate realities, whatever else comes up.
okay, okay, for sure. My pleasure.